I'm Madhu Sharma and this is Design Mind. Every episode, we teach your mind about design by analysing a website. In this episode of Design Mind, we are looking at Firestorm, which is a microsite created by The Guardian. The website charts the story of the Holmes family, whose lives were shattered by the violent bushfires of Tasmania. As we will see, the website brilliantly combines images, text and video to create a unique experience that would only be possible on the web. In particular, the design uses these various mediums to add gravitas and credibility to the story. The first aspect immediately apparent about this website is the atmosphere. Emotive full-screen photos and videos, together with a background soundtrack, are used to make the audience feel as if they are at the event. We'll get back to the use of video, sounds and photography later on. For now I want to get onto another distinctive aspect of the website, which is its structure. In many ways, the site is structured like a book. Content is broken up into chapters, and there's a clear sequential path. Despite this book-like structure, it still contains many web-like features, the most noticeable of which is how the text is broken up into chunks. Keeping this convention is wise, as reading long paragraphs is off-putting on the web. In addition, the text chunks allow the user to focus on each paragraph, as there isn't the distraction of other pages. This intense focus makes the story feel more important, as it is something to be studied and concentrated on, instead of just being casually flicked through. Even if the user does end up skim reading, this studious feeling can't be avoided. Of course, the site doesn't just rely on text. As you will notice, most pages such as this one have a video background. If you look very carefully, you can see the video is subtle, consisting of just a few frames that endlessly loop. The subtlety works to great effect, as it brings the page to life without being overpowering. The black gradient background tempers down the distractions of the video, enabling the text to maintain its prominence. As Tasmania is a sunny country, some of the background videos can be quite happy looking, such as this one, so the gradient lowers the mood and ensures that the video matches the serious tone of the story. Most of these backgrounds display incidental objects, such as trees and skies in this example, as opposed to footage of events. This creates a sense of the Tasmanian environment in the reader's mind, and so creates the feeling of being there, which again adds credibility and weight to the text. The natural sounds that accompany these clips add to this feeling. Note that there's no background music other than the outdoor sounds. While music would have increased the emotional intensity, it would have also made the story too sensationalistic. Relying on environmental sounds reinforces the realism and authenticity. Out of these video clips, I particularly like this one, which shows the Tasmanian Fire Service driving through town, as it adds a first-person feel. If I turn the sound back on, you can hear the driver narrate his experience of the day, which really creates the feeling of being there.
I was actually driving along probably around 5 to 6 kilometres on the northern side of Dunalley when I realised how quick this fire front was actually moving.
Roger, looks like another aircraft coming in now, could be a BK with a belly tank over.
Some pages have full-screen videos where the members of the Holmes family recall the events of the fire. This is a powerful device, as it lets the reader put faces to the people of the story. We can't help but empathise with the family, and so a strong emotional connection is formed. Other pages use maps and charts to illustrate locations in the story, which again add weight to the factual tone. It makes it easier to visualise the wide-ranging impact the fire had on the country. As you'll notice, all the pages place text on the left-hand side and use video content or photos as a background. This approach works brilliantly on mobile. On a mobile display, the background is faded into the back, allowing more room for the text. However, because the background is still present, the atmosphere it creates still occurs. Indeed, the mobile-first approach is one of the reasons the website works so well and is so innovative. If it had been a desktop-only site, I am betting the design would have been more traditional. Although the use of responsive web design is great, there are a few issues, which we will get into later. Let's move on to examining the interface. The primary way of navigating the pages is through this scroll down to continue button. The text on the button is confusing, as the user actually has to click the button to move forwards instead of scrolling. Although scrolling with a mouse works, using the page up down buttons on a keyboard do not. This is a shame, as using these keys is quite a natural way to navigate through web pages on a desktop. In fact, having to go back to this scroll button each time is distracting, as it takes the user out of what is a very emotional story. On tablet and mobile, the user can use their finger to scroll, but on all the devices I tested, this doesn't work reliably. It's quite easy to skip a page, and the display can sometimes be broken while pages are loading. As a result, using the scroll down to continue button is the best way to navigate. One neat touch about the button is that it fades away when the user is not hovering over it, which ensures it doesn't draw attention away from the photos. Disappointingly, there isn't a button to scroll back, so if the user doesn't have a mouse wheel and wants to quickly go back to a previous page to reread something, the only option is to use the navigation bar. The navigation bar is located out of the way on the right hand side. As you'll notice, it has a small font size, and this allows the bar to remain slim, whilst its muted colour scheme ensures that it doesn't draw attention away from the photos. I would have preferred it if the bar was also faded like the scroll down to continue button, as it does end up being a tiny bit distracting. Hovering over the links displays these excellent menus. The lead photo in each menu allows each chapter to be understood at a glance. The chapter headings have icons that allow quick identification if the page contains a video, a text item, or a chart. I'm not really sure how useful this information is, especially as the icons themselves are quite vague, and so they partly add clutter to the menu. On the other hand, they do help to break up the headings. One minor nitpick about the navigation area is this volume button, which stands out too much by being placed here. Often on many websites, the mute button can be hard to locate, so having a prominent one is a good thing. However, I think the button would have worked much better if it was in the sidebar, as this would allow it to be visible without being too distracting. Overall, Firestorm is an excellent website. Although it combines a variety of mediums, it also uses plenty of restraint, which allows the design to add emotional impact to its content. While this layout wouldn't suit every type of website, it is great to see a design that not only breaks from the norm, but actually works in doing so. That's it for this episode of Design Mind. A new episode of Design Mind is released every Monday and Thursday. Find us on the web at designmind.info. Our YouTube channel is at youtube.com/designmindinfo. You can also find us on iTunes. We'd love it if you could leave us a review at any of these places. Until next time, happy designing!